Welcome back to the final episode of Study Smart. I'm Clara Tong, your host and an online math tutor working with students ages 11 and up. If you need assistance with math, check out the links down below to get in contact with me. Today, we'll be focusing on test preparation and performance anxiety. Now, I get a number of students who tell me that when they sit down to write a test, they blank out or make silly mistakes. What can they do? Well, I've compiled a checklist of 15 items of what students should do while they study for the test, the night before the test, and during the test. I also have a list of 10 things that students should not be doing. These lists are available as a free PDF download, so click the link in the description to get your copy. I did do a fair amount of research to create this video. Sources are listed in the description box as well as in the PDF download. Test preparation starts early. It's about learning for understanding, organization, physical health, and attitude. Throughout your learning, be sure to do these things. Number 1, get enough sleep. Nearly 70% of teenagers don't, which affects memory, attention, and cognitive processing. Number 2, stay organized. Print out your notes or have multiple screens for better visibility. It's really important to be able to access everything you need, such as your formula sheet, your notes, the questions, and the answer keys if necessary. Back when I was a student, everything was done on paper, but now when I practice math, I prefer the iPad. Yes, I'm a math tutor and I need to practice math. I found that I made a lot of mistakes when I couldn't do the question next to the question itself, so my solution was to use split screen on the iPad. I also have 2 monitors for my laptop for formulas, notes, and answers. But if all you have is a laptop or an iPad, you might like to print some of your materials out. Otherwise, you'll be flipping through many tabs or your entire photo album just looking for the thing that you need. Number 3, use high-efficacy study habits. Handwrite your notes instead of typing them out, taking pictures of the board, or reading your teacher's PowerPoint slides. Studies show that handwriting helps you remember more of what you have learned compared to if you type them out. This website goes into more detail of what you should do if your teacher speaks too fast for your handwriting speed. Use the Pomodoro technique for time management. If you need a refresher on how to do that, check out this link. Constantly give yourself mini tests to check understanding. Make use of memory techniques such as acronyms, creating metaphors, analogies for concepts, and the memory palace. Have the aim of learning for understanding and see how the pieces of information fit together. Do not try to learn math and science by memorization. That does not work. Practice interleaving questions by mixing up different question types during the same study session. This helps you learn to identify the concept being tested and to use the correct problem-solving strategy. Many students fall into the trap of deploying a series of steps without understanding what the question is asking. That's because all the questions that they've been doing that day are asking the same thing. Number 4, find a study buddy or a study group. Other people can help you spot blind spots and hold you accountable. Are you having trouble finding an in-person study group? Try going online, but make sure to turn your notifications off. Number 5, decrease the stakes. Remember that there are many pathways to success. Don't put all the pressure on doing well on one test so that you can get into one program at one school. In your downtime, come up with a plan B for an alternate career path or school. It's possible that great outcomes and opportunities can come from other pathways. When you realize that plan B is not so bad and you might even look forward to it, this takes the pressure off the test that you're facing. Number 6, practice taking multiple choice tests. Carefully read what the question is asking before you look at any of the options. If the question is worded in such a way that you can answer it without looking at the choices, do that. Number 7, do the practice test in a similar environment to the actual test. Sit at a table, not in your bed. Turn off any music or devices that wouldn't normally be allowed during the test. According to psychologist Sion Baylog in her TED Talk, practice test taking under similar conditions to the exam room helps you less likely be psyched out during the test. Number 8, sleep well before the test. No all-nighter sessions. On the day of the test, keep your brain relaxed even if the test is later on in the day. Number 9, reinterpret nerves as excitements. If you get nervous while the teacher is handing out the test papers, shift your mindset. Those sensations of sweaty palms, a racing heartbeat, and butterflies in your stomach, they can occur when you're anxious, but they also occur when you're excited. By telling yourself that you're actually excited to do well, you can view the test as an opportunity rather than a threat. Number 10, try diaphragmatic breathing. This technique works because while you cannot control your heart rate or your stomach sensations, you can control your breath. Deep breathing shifts your body from being in fight or flight mode into a more calm state called rest and digest. Here's a helpful video on how to do that. Number 11. Another thing that you can do to calm yourself down is to write about your fears for 10 minutes. When you unload your worries onto paper, you're freeing up working memory so that you can focus on the test. Research shows that it can boost performance. Number 12, try the hard start, jump to easy technique. Have you ever been hit with the correct answer to a difficult test problem while walking out of the exam room? This happens because after the test is over, your brain can exit focus mode and enter diffuse mode, where your brain is allowed to wander. In this mode, your brain comes up with the correct answer, but it's too late now. What we could do instead is to try to activate diffuse mode during the test. So when you first get your test paper, look to see how many pages there are. Is the test double-sided? Then look for a hard question and start working on that. Now here's the really important part. If after a minute you're still stuck, pull your attention away from the hard question and start doing an easier question. The hard question is loaded in your brain and it will begin to work on it in the background. When you return to it later, you'll often come up with a new insight. Keep working on it, and again, if you're stuck, pull your attention away. This way, you'll make a little progress on every single question. If you leave the hardest question for the end, you face running out of time when you need your diffuse mode the most. Number 13. Reset your brain before checking answers. When checking your answers, briefly look away to reset your brain. You can look at the clock or the ceiling if you're afraid that your teacher will think that you're cheating. Resetting your brain helps you evaluate your work more objectively. Also, review your answers in a different order than you did them. Number 14. Verify that your solution is correct by using a different method to solve it. Chances are, if you get the same result, you did it correctly and can move on to the next question with confidence. Number 15, keep track of time. Make sure that you don't run out of time while writing a test. Have you studied using the techniques above? How did they work out for you? Do you have additional suggestions? Leave a comment down below. Now let's get into things that students should not be doing. I've been guilty of doing some of these things myself, and I see current students do them. I include this list here because if you catch yourself doing these things, then you have an opportunity to change your behavior. Number 1. Do not procrastinate until the very last minute. You do not do your best work that way. Don't excuse it by saying that you were busy with other assignments. For subjects like math and science, it is much better to spend 30 minutes every day for 10 days rather to cram it all into one 5-hour session the day before the test. Number 2, don't allow for distractions, whether you're working by yourself or with a group. Keep the conversation on topic and put away any distractions. Number 3, don't be overconfident in your answers and just assume that whatever you did was correct. Scrutinize your steps and your thinking. Number 4, don't rely on memorization when you should be focusing on understanding. Don't just look for rules that you can apply for every question without understanding why they work. Number 5, don't engage in study techniques that don't work, such as passively rereading your notes or highlighting. Number 6, don't succumb to the belief that you're not able to understand the content. It will become a self-fulfilling prophecy. Believe in yourself. Number 7, don't blame the teacher for creating unfair tests. Even if everyone in your friend group is complaining about how hard this teacher marks or how they've never seen this question before until the test, chances are there is somebody doing well in that class. At the end of the day, you are responsible for your own learning. That mark is going to be yours whether or not you think it was fair. Number 8, don't persist at problems that you're clearly not getting. There is something called the Einstellung effect. It's like having a mental block where you're so used to doing questions one way that you don't see a simpler or better solution right in front of you. Here's an example of the Einstellung effect. I have seen students do this when they really should be doing this. Instead, take a breather and come back to the question later. Number 9, don't allow for confusion to grow. The second you realize that you don't understand a concept, seek to get clarification. Number 10, don't neglect your physical body. I know I sound like your mom or your doctor, but all those things they tell you about getting adequate sleep, eating healthy, and exercise are true. They're really important for keeping your brain at peak performance, even if you think that you're young and this doesn't apply to you yet. By following the tips in this video, you can optimize your study sessions, reduce anxiety, and improve your test performance. If this video was helpful for you, please give it a like and share it with others that you think may benefit. As always, thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video, and remember to slay those exams. That's what kids say these days, right?